Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this. I am the CHALL, and today Chall Chats to the DRFC Press Talk, where today we will be going through the press conference ahead of today's game with Walsall. Now then, we'll be back with another press talk on Friday, hopefully. Hopefully Tom Coates from the Yorkshire Post will be here with us again to preview Accrington and review today's game, and of course review the press conference going into it. But this is the focus on Walsall. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. We're getting closer and closer. The subscriber list has been going up and up and up. So let's get there as soon as possible, please. And for now, guys, let's have a look at everything that's been said in the press conference this week ahead of today's game. So then, let's go into it. So starting off with Morecambe, the win against Morecambe. He said it was a good win and a good performance. I felt the same. If people saw my match reaction, you know I felt the same way. I felt like the Morecambe game was a really good performance overall. I felt we did a lot attacking wise. I felt like we were better attacking wise as well. For me personally, I feel like we did our absolute best. We knew what we needed to do, and I thought we executed it to the best of our ability. And you know, Morecambe kind of edged the possession game, but we did a lot more with the ball. I felt like there was a lot of inconsistency in Morecambe's final third. So you know, we overall deserve the win. And you know, Morecambe are going to have to try and bounce back against Wrexham today. I'm pretty sure they'll try and put in a good performance. It's going to be hard against a team like Wrexham because we know how good Wrexham can be, despite how much we won that game against them as well. You know, Wrexham are going to try their absolute best. We know Morecambe's going to be up for it, so it's going to be an interesting game there. I think it's away at Wrexham, so that should be an interesting game over in Wales. But yeah, overall, really good, and Grant thought so as well. In terms of recent performances, the confidence in the team at the moment is great. The energy around the group is good. He said there's a calmness within the group. There's a plan in place ready for Walsall today. Only five games left. We take it one game at a time. And you know what? I love that approach from Grant McCann. I love that approach that we're taking it one game at a time. It's a wonderful, wonderful approach because you're not getting ahead of yourselves. I'm pretty sure Grant McCann will be telling that group to really keep focused and not get too ahead of ourselves in terms of where we are in terms of rising up the table. Obviously, if the math checks out, then we can finish in seventh place still. Depending on other results in the last five games with a couple of teams. I think Crawley, Barrow, and Crewe are the main ones we're keeping an eye out for in terms of other results, as well as winning. Or we've got to win all five of our last games, including today. We've got to win every single game now for the rest of the season. I just hope other results go our way between now and the end of the season. So it's going to be a tough ask. You know, do I think we'll stay in this league this season? Probably. I don't think we'll sneak into seventh. I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be an amazing story if we do. And can you imagine the content if we do? Going into them playoffs, it's going to be fantastic. But yeah, overall for me, it's one of them where I just feel like we just got to do our part. You know, if we win all five games the rest of the season, and you know, other teams don't really help us out and they finish above us and whatever. We can't help that. We've done our job. It will be a what might have been if we put this form together a month earlier. But, you know, it's one of them. It's one of them where it's build the platform for next season and go from there. You know, I went on the League Two podcast for Lower League Look and I sort of said, you know, what do you think we'll do next season? And they made a great point. They made a really valid point about when our loan players go back. It's all I think, and you know what? I agree. I agree with them. I asked this to them, and I think they agree with me. I think the summer will define our season next season. I think the summer window will define what kind of season we have next season in terms of the rest of the players that we keep, any loanees that we decide on permanent contracts, and also anyone else we add to the squads in terms of what they bring to the squad. So the summer will define our season next season, and January will be a massive help towards the final push for the season. So it's going to be massive. It's going to be very, very crucial this season. On Joseph Olowu, who's been stepping in the defence. Of course, players are ready when opportunities come around, says Grant. He takes the chance when it comes. Olowu's been impressing me. You know, Tom from St. Louis was really impressed with Olowu against Wrexham. And I was impressed with Olowu against Morecambe. I feel like he had a really good balance to the squad again. I think him and Wood have struck up a really nice partnership. And you know what? It's great to see defenders who can defend now. You know, we've had it numerous times over the last couple of seasons where there's been defensive partnerships that just haven't worked, or defensive back threes that just haven't worked. And now we've got a defence that is working. It's not because they're not good players. It's because there's something finally clicking with the squad. That's the reason why. It's not that, you know, people may be saying I'm controversial with this. I don't think people like Roshaw Williams and that are bad players. I just think they just didn't work with the players around them. And I just didn't feel like it just worked. I don't think the morale of the squad was high enough. I don't think the whole kind of feeling and chemistry of the squad wasn't good enough. And it just didn't get to a point where it got to a point where it just didn't work. And, you know, players fit the right clubs. I don't think they were the right fits. They're not necessarily bad players, they just didn't fit. That's why I've not been really critical of Jordi Olowu recently, because I don't think he's a bad player. He just didn't fit. And, you know, people can call me all nicey and all this lot. I'm just trying to be respectful about it. I just don't think he was the right fit. In terms of injuries, I did do my preview yesterday before the press conference came out, and Biamou's not looking so good. Might need a scan. So that's obviously bad news. He's been hitting some really good form recently, and it's sad that we can't keep him fit, but that's just how it is. There's an opportunity now for Billy Waters to come into the bench or come into the side. I think Ironside will probably start now tonight. Biggins is good. He's fine for today. Do I think McCann takes that risk? I reckon he'll start Tommy Rowe, but I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Biggins instead. Billy Waters is apparently chomping at the bit, so I'm glad to hear of that. In terms of Walsall itself, we did make some mistakes against them there. We did play well, don't get me wrong, we tried, but Walsall got the goals. We just didn't take our chance in the final third against Walsall at their place, and they took theirs, and that's why they won 3-1. They're in good form, 2 consecutive wins. Can they make it 3? I personally hope not, but I'm sure they'll be chomping at the bit. They're a team that works hard, like Wrexham, like Morecambe. And to be fair to Morecambe and Wrexham, they didn't play awful. It was just their final third lacked. And there was definitely a defensive mistake or two in the Morecambe game with the backwards pass from Kumbeni, I think it was, for that led to one of the goals. You know, it was just individual moments. And you know what? We were known for that for a while. We were known for individual moments that cost us goals against us and not taking our chance in the final third. And now we're doing that and cutting out mistakes in the defence. And now other teams are suffering through it. Any teams that are suffering through those moments where it's not individual, it's not overall performances, it's just individual errors. Trust me, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We are that light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we're an example of that. And finally, in terms of the supporters, apparently, according to Grant McCann, Wrexham was the best atmosphere Grant's ever seen. Fans can see a team working hard. They can see we're trying to move in the right direction. And that's very important for me to mention. It's very important for me to mention because for me, I feel like it's incredibly important to take note that we are concentrating, we are focused on the direction we're going in. And this is why I've been completely confident in Grant McCann. And, you know, there has been concerns from the outside about why we didn't ask a lot more questions about Grant McCann during the bad run. I think it's because we knew what this manager was capable of. And look, I might be hypocritical here, but I look at the Arsenal situation. If Arteta doesn't win anything this season, why has he earned the right to stay? You know, yes, there might have been progress. And don't get me wrong, if Arsenal lose out on the title by a point, you know, there might be some, you know, answers there. But I don't know. For me personally, you know, it might sound hypocritical for me, but for me, I feel like we know what this manager's capable of. We know what this manager can do. We knew it weren't going to be a one-season job. We knew it was going to be more than that. You know, and for context, you know, before people start comparing to the Arsenal situation, for context, Arsenal's in year 4 of their plan. They should have won more than just an FA Cup by now, in my opinion, if they were really challenging. So Arsenal, for me, have got to win the Premier League this year in order to complete the phases and put any kind of doubt away from the manager. Either the Premier League or the Champions League. With us, we're in the first year of this rebuild. You know, this summer's not going to be a rebuild. This summer's going to be a sprinkling of a few extra signings, quality signings on top of what we've already got and what we've already built. So we're going to be in phase two. I mean, if we're going to talk about buzzwords such as phases and process and things like that, we're in phase two of our process next season. Phase two is going to be crucial. And you know what? I said it on the League Two podcast, and I'll say it again. Top 7 is the minimum next season. Depending on the summer. It depends on the summer, but if the summer is the summer that we want it to be, then top 7's the minimum aim. And I'm pretty sure Grant McCann will say top 7 is the minimum aim, 100%. The bad thing about League Two is that there is, a few teams. There's quite a few teams, 5 to 10 teams that will be aiming for top 7, and there's a few teams that are going to miss out. So it's a tough league. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Can we sneak into 7th? There's a chance mathematically, but we just never know. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this episode of the DRFC Press Talk. We'll be back with another one on Friday, looking ahead to the Accrington game, hopefully with Tom Coates of the Yorkshire Post. And for now, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now, and that is full time.